Is Rodgers the runaway MVP?
I don't think he's the runaway. I, for the great majority of this season, have said that Jonathan Taylor was the MVP of the NFL. I think what's happened over the last 3 weeks, Aaron Rodgers has probably taken the #1 spot. Jonathan's had good games, not great games, and Aaron Rodgers obviously had a really good stretch here where they've secured the 1 seed and he's continued to produce. I still think that if Aaron Rodgers does not play Sunday this weekend, because again, their game does not matter, and Jonathan Taylor goes for 175 yards, 200 yards against Jacksonville, and they win because of him and his performance to get into the playoffs, given what their season started like, I think Jonathan Taylor has a chance to overtake Aaron Rodgers in the MVP voting. I think it's his to lose, but I think a huge game from Jonathan is a big deal. I'd also say I think Joe Burrow has the chance to be in that conversation as well with what he's done. Now, everyone, Charlie, goes to this. Like, everyone says Derrick Henry didn't win it last year and he rushed for 2,000 yards. Okay, so context in this conversation matters. Number one, last year when Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards, there were 3 quarterbacks that threw for over 40 touchdowns. There were 11 quarterbacks that threw for over 30 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, I think, has somewhere around 1,700 plus yards right now. Derrick Henry ran for 2,000. This year, there's only 1 quarterback that's thrown for 40 touchdowns. There's only 9 that have thrown for 30. So the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, won it last year because he had far and away the best quarterback performance of last season in a body or grouping that had a better quarterbacking performance last year than it did this year. That's why I still think Jonathan Taylor is in the conversation.
I like that one.
Hey, Dan, let me ask you a question.
You like that, Wood? You like
Dan,
that?
let me ask you a question.
What?
Let me
I already
ask you
know
this
who you're
question.
going to say.
Who is that one quarterback who has thrown for 40 touchdowns, Dan? Tom Brady.
Tomas Brady.
Tom Brady is the quarterback who's thrown for 40 touchdowns, okay? And I'm just going to go back to this. Do I think Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP? Yes. Do I think it's close? I do think it's close, and I think it's close because of Tom Brady. And listen, Dan, you bring up, Jonathan Taylor. He's had a fantastic year, but we all know how this award is trending. It's trending. It's a quarterback award. It's a quarterback. That's just the facts here. Unless the running back has just an unbelievable special year, it's going to pretty much always go towards the quarterback. And for me, Tom Brady this year, this is a guy that's thrown for over 1,000 more yards than Aaron Rodgers. Now, granted, he plays in a different type of offense than Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers has A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones and has more of a ground game than Tom Brady. But again, at the age of 44, and to have all of that on his shoulders, to throw for 40 touchdowns, have 1,000 more passing yards, I just think it's just unbelievable. So, yes, Aaron Rodgers more than likely is going to win the MVP, but I think Tom Brady is right on his heels in this whole thing.
Well, I would say this. Like, I know Tom's thrown for 40 touchdowns. Aaron's thrown for 38, and I actually have it right here. Tom's attempted 682 passes. Aaron Rodgers is attempted 513. So Tom's thrown 170 more passes. I would imagine Aaron would have 2 more touchdowns if he did that, and I don't know, 1,000 more yards, but certainly a bunch more yards. So, the fact that they're so close with their touchdowns in regards to the difference in passing attempts has to be a part of this conversation. I think that while Davante Adams is the best receiver in football, I would say that the totality of the weapons in Tampa for the majority of the season have been better. Aaron lost his starting tight end for basically 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the season, and Tunyon had to play some games without Allen Lazard as well. So both seasons are remarkable. If a quarterback is going to win it, I think Aaron Rodgers wins it again. But again, I would say this, Wood. I think that if we're going to put Tom Brady in the conversation, Joe Burrow has to be right there neck and neck with him. I honestly feel that way.
Listen, I don't disagree with you because I think a lot of times when you talk about MVP conversation, a lot of it is momentum down the stretch.
Sure.
And look at what Joe Burrow has done, particularly down the stretch. Hell, I mean, his whole season has been lights out, but just down the stretch with the numbers that he's been able to put up, those fantasy type numbers he's been able to put up, it's been eye-opening. So I think Joe Burrow, listen, we've both touched upon it. We've joked about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has officially arrived to the party. I think he's one of the finest quarterbacks that we have in this league.
Yeah, and I think indifferent to what Tom and Aaron have done, he does not have their offensive lines. You know, Cincinnati, pass protection-wise, has still struggled. Now, I wouldn't be as crazy enough to go on national television and say that I would take him over Patrick Mahomes over the next 5 years. I think he's phenomenal, but I'm not crazy enough to do something like that.
They did go head-to-head. I mean, they went head-to-head, and who came out on top? So, you know,
that's one
I'm
game,
just going to
though.
throw that out there. But, you know, it's not crazy for me to say. Is it, Dan?
It's strong.
He's questioning your mental health here. Hey, Dan, so you said that you would take, if you had to choose a quarterback, you would choose Aaron Rodgers. So there is the plan for him to play on Sunday. It's a meaningless game, a throwaway against the Lions, but Matt LaFleur has said that all healthy starters will take the field. Do you think that this is the right way of going about things? Do you think Rodgers should be playing on Sunday?
I would play him for like a series or two. That's fine. I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if Aaron Rodgers saw the second quarter. You know, I think they treat it maybe like the first preseason game, you know, where you go out there, you have a drive, hopefully have some success, maybe a second one, you get 7 or 10 points on the board. And Charlie, honestly, like you can call plays to make sure that you're not exposing him to a high percentage of hits or high chance of hits. So I'd be shocked if Aaron Rodgers saw the second quarter. If he sees the second half, I'll have some choice words on Monday morning.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.